Testing, testing. Oh, I think it's actually picking up now. Okay, it's finally working. Too quiet. How's this? I turned it up a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to jump into the voice hangout on Discord. Anyone who wants to can jump in too. Alright, can anyone hear me on here?
Yeah, that's better.
Alright, So yeah, I've been working on basically gutting the script engine and taking it out of the memory emulation and just bringing it into like normal code. We're trying to do things to the script engine that will make it a little bit easier for us to kind of start working with the scripts, because right now they're like prohibitively difficult to do anything with, and they really kind of hamper what we can do with a lot of parts of the engine. Something that someone was asking about earlier actually was like things like changing the button for like mashing when you're using item magic, which you would think would be pretty simple to do, but that's actually handled by a script, and right now they're pretty much impossible to even touch. Let me find the script engine code here. Okay, come on. One thing that we've been struggling with is some of the ridiculous parameter types for the scripts. Zychronix isn't in the chat, is he? No, he's not.
Not yet.
What? What was that, Drew?
I just said not yet.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we're basically trying to we're going to try and write a disassembler for the scripts, and that will hopefully allow us to actually start making changes to them. So this has been kind of the first steps into doing that. The way that I first wrote the decomp project was using a emulation layer for the memory. And the reason I did that is because, well, the game uses all kinds of, well, it uses pointers and all kinds of weird memory operations. And until we actually figured out what, like, every part of the game did, a lot of the times we were basically just dealing with raw memory rather than, like, you know, booleans and integers and whatever. So it kind of allowed us to get off the ground really quickly without actually understanding what the code did. But of course, long term, that's really limiting because we've kind of got like a pretend layer between the code and the actual hardware. So today I've been working on basically getting rid of that layer for another part of the game. This part being the scripts and the text boxes. That's been going pretty well. The game still runs, which is always good. And it should actually run a lot faster too, because one thing with the whole memory emulation layer is that it's very slow. How far behind is the YouTube stream for the people in the voice chat?
I think it's only like 10 seconds at most.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
Okay.
I put it on low latency for you.
Okay, cool. If you were wondering why I was sitting here not saying anything.
You're just taking your turn for last time we did the Severed Chains playthrough stream, and I was talking to no one for like 2 minutes.
Yep. Was that when you disconnected?
No, that was the start of the stream.
Did we have a full start? I don't remember.
I think I did.
Yeah, we could hear
Also,
Monoxide.
just really quick, did you set up your sound layers so that you have both your mic and your desktop audio?
Possibly. Is
Okay.
it coming through the YouTube
Oh,
stream?
I didn't check. I turned off the YouTube stream.
Okay.
But you should have one source for your mic, and then your desktop source, your sound card, would pick up all of the guests like me who are talking in the Discord.
Okay. I'm going to try also streaming on Discord so that anyone in the call can see what's actually happening in real time. We'll see how well that goes. I don't have super strong upstream speed.
You should be able to. Like, if you're doing less than 5,000 kbps on YouTube, then you've got plenty left over for Discord. Just make it slightly lower res or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need 60 FPS or whatever.
Yeah, I set Discord to 1080p 30.
Watch stream. Yeah, that looks good to me.
Okay, cool. Anyone who's watching on YouTube, can you hear the game and the other people in the Discord call? Okay, Hero Spike said yes. Cool, sounds like it's all working then.
Yeah, you should be all set then.
Yeah.
Crisis averted. We barely got this on time.
That's kind of a theme for these streams. It's literally like the last 30 seconds.
I got it set up 99% of the way, like 8 hours in advance. There's just that 1%, that one single button needed to be enabled. I had to make my roommate do it for me.
Yeah. Well, it all worked out.
Yeah.
We got the stream key all set up and everything because it's actually me streaming this time. Normally it's just Drew and I'm on a Discord call. But we got the stream key set up, and then like a half hour before, while Drew is not home, we realized that the video was not set to auto start, and Drew couldn't get into the YouTube account to actually start it.
I had to call Corey while driving. Like, I pulled over at some random school that, you know, wasn't currently in operating hours, so just pulled over and started the call like, Corey, I need to talk to you.
It's an emergency.
And then I managed, we got off the call 10 minutes before the stream started, and I finally got through to my roommate with like 2 minutes to spare before the live stream, and I'm starting to message Corey to let him know that I got the auto start working. I was like, go, do the thing. And then like church bells are literally playing in the background, and I'm like, church bells are ringing in all caps. We need to go.
Yeah, I was doing stuff on my end, and I didn't even notice that you were messaging me.
Oh my god. I was terrified that we were going to miss the auto start. It's reminding me of that auto wash from The Fifth Element. Anyway.
So yeah, the script engine seems to be working pretty good with the new updates. It was way less difficult than I thought it was going to be. I was like dreading actually starting this, but it's kind of just working.
Is this
And
like
go ahead.
I was gonna say, is this like an engine? I guess that's the wrong word, but this is like a system that's gonna just work for any script, or do you have to go like script by script to actually get it to be compatible?
No, it's just the game's core script engine. So the scripts, well, there's literally like thousands of scripts. Every single map in the game has a script. Every single object on every one of those maps has a script. Every animation, every special effect, pretty much the entire game is basically just run on the script engine. If we did have to do something for every single script, that would be just a complete nightmare.
So I was wondering if this is a monolithic task that you just underwent. Not that this project isn't that to begin with. I do have another question though. Was that the last thing running on the emulation layer for memory? And also, is this kind of a bridge to me being able to have more clear access to what the memory is doing for the harness?
So it's definitely not the last thing. Actually, it's one of the first things. For the first things that I took off of the memory layer was the bootstrap. So like the stuff that runs before the game. That's how I was able to get it loading in like a handful of milliseconds. The menus, since the rewrite no longer use the memory layer, and now the scripting engine doesn't. Well, the core of the scripting engine doesn't. Some of the things that run on the scripting engine still do, but the main part of it doesn't. As for the test harness, unfortunately this actually makes it a bit more difficult because before I could just give you like memory addresses that you could hook into. That's not really a thing anymore. But that being said, we'll probably kind of collaborate, and I'll add hooks here and there that you can use in order to basically remote control everything.
So I just want to make this run too long. So with the hooks, is that going to like either could be a combination of just like back end execution, like almost like a dev console type of thing, versus just emulated keyboard and mouse inputs?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, all right.
For
That
anyone wondering,
makes it easier.
Balder is going to be working on a test harness. Well, is working on a test harness to basically automate the game, and we'll be using that to basically do like automated testing. That way, we don't need to every time we make changes, we don't have to have people actually like go through and manually test every part of the game to make sure I didn't break everything, which has only happened a couple of times. One of which was when I accidentally turned the world maps upside down, like an hour before the stream started. So that was something.
That was definitely something for me as the one
You remember that, Drew?
running that, yeah.
Drew just happened to pop into the world map, which is something, like the one thing that I hadn't tested, and yeah, it was just upside down.
Yeah. For what it's worth, we were probably close to the value of corrupted gravity.
Yeah, you were like right outside of it. John Jingleheimer in the YouTube chat said, one thing that would be nice is if you could name save files in-game. If you have unlimited, it could get confusing which is which. That is actually already half implemented. I did that as soon as I made it so there's unlimited save slots. Right now it's just a user interface limitation, but when I start rewriting the menus, that's going to be one of the first things that I do. Basically, when you save your game, when you create a new save file, you'll be able to give it an actual name. And that name will be displayed in-game rather than just a number slot.
Yep, you can name it like, why am I still playing this 22 years later? Number 52.
Number 52, yeah.
Yes.
Every year you can start a new save. Why am I playing this
I,
23 years later? Why am I playing this
I'm
24 years later?
I'm the psycho who is dreaming of a nested save system like other games where like I don't know, Warhammer, Total War Warhammer, where you can have like saves based on which campaign you're running. So like say per playthrough, you have a set of saves for your current playthrough, and then when you start a new playthrough, it has its own batch of saves,
Yeah, I mean, that would be trivial, to be honest with you.
and then you could like your saves would be contiguous, and you wouldn't have to remember like, oh wait, was this save file from this playthrough or was it a different playthrough? I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea. That would be pretty trivial to implement. We could
Awesome.
just we could just group them rather than having the flat saves folder. We could just group them.
So that'll be done on Friday, right?
Well,
Uh,
it'll be done when the user interface is rewritten.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, so I guess to add to the save file stuff, as far as the naming stuff, from a playtest for my sake, being able to name them too, any idea when that would happen? Because I think being able to just create a save file at each point in time, essentially for me, will be easiest as well for testing Steam Deck stuff.
You want to know when naming save files would be implemented?
Yeah, mostly.
That's a good question. I haven't really put any thought into when I'm going to actually rework the user interfaces. I mean,
So right now it just shows up as unlimited, and you can just do 1 through a billion or whatever, right?
yeah, I'll pop open the save game screen here real quick.
Now, I haven't looked at any of the mods or anything like that. I'm assuming it's a separate mod for that, right?
The unlimited save games? No, it's baked right in.
Okay.
Anything that doesn't drastically change gameplay, we're just, for the most part, going to integrate it into the core. Some of them will be
Okay.
opt-in. Like No Dart isn't going to require a mod, but you will have to enable it when you start your game.
Yeah. Okay. I guess in the meantime, I'll just create a text file with all the saves and where I'm at in each save.
Yeah.
That
As
may
it
not work
stands,
since they get renumbered.
true. Yeah. So right now, the way that it works is it orders them by date. Like your newest
Oh.
saves are on top, and then
Oh.
it's descending into the past. So that might
Okay.
not work.
Well, if it will if I just do it by playtime. So hey, at this playtime.
Yeah.
Understood.
That's probably your
Right.
best bet for now.
Okay. Cool. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so
So yeah, I'll start just creating separate save files. That way, if I need to test points in time, at least until a test harness happens, then I can just test certain points of Steam Deck stuff.
yeah, and if you ever need a certain place, talk to either me or Doom because we both create an ungodly amount of saves.
Gotcha.
I've got a save for pretty much every single state of the game. Like every time a save becomes available, I usually just save in a new slot.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I was gonna do essentially. Is
Yeah.
anytime I walk by a save, I'll create a new one.
TFZ also has emulator memory cards that have a lot of save states along with lists of what all those states are.
Oh. Yeah.
I've got a little script if anyone ever needs to use a save from an emulator that will convert the save files from an emulator memory card into the severed chains format.
Okay, cool. Maybe I'll just pick up that instead. Save myself a little hassle.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Why
always
didn't I
works.
know about that? Like, I would put that on our website.
Oh, it's just a little bash script, so it's not easy
Okay.
for the an average user to use. It's a dead simple script, but yeah, I mean you have to be at least like basically familiar with Linux and how to run scripts, and also need to have Linux or a way to run bash scripts.
Well, it'll work for my purposes then, even though I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know
well.
anything about that.
Yeah, I can tell you how to use it. It's really easy to use if you're set up to run Bash.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good at learning on the fly, but yeah. So if I could just get sent that too, then I can start playing around with it and find that other emulator.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
If and when we push that priority higher, just let me know, Corey, because then I can have the advance notice to throw you a basic, like, you know, GUI for that.
For what? For the save gain converter?
Yeah. No, the save naming and looking at saves with names and stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like just
Yeah, we can
redoing the
probably
layout so
start
it
that
fits all that
sometime
stuff.
soon.
Okay.
I do want to try a little test here real quick, now that I've got a lot of the script engine running natively rather than in the memory layer. I want to try a frame rate test. So I'm going to remove the frame limiting code. I just need to remember which part of the engine it is in. Must be in context. No? Where the heck is it? Frame limit. Okay, so I'm just going to comment that out for now. This is going to be a very unscientific test just running in the IDE, but I just want to see if it made an appreciable difference. Matthew Lee asked, is this the development of Legend of Dragoon for newer consoles? This is an unofficial PC port that I've been working on for a couple of years. Did that actually work? Yeah, this is an unofficial PC port that I've been working on, so this is running natively on PC, and recently we got it working on Steam Deck and Linux and stuff. Okay, so it looks like we're only running at around 60 frames per second here. Let's try combat. Oh, you know what? VSync might actually be enabled as well. Let me just check on that. I may have to look up how to disable VSync with GLFW. I think I need to change the swap interval to 0. Let's try that and see what happens. Oh yeah, that's working. Okay, it's hard to tell what it's actually running at. Looks like it's somewhere around, probably averaging around 140, 130. Can I... Okay, there we go. And in combat, we're only getting like 80, 75, 80. Alright, now I'm going to switch to the other branch. It won't run on consoles, unless you have a modded console that can run Java applications. But it will run on PC, and it'll run on the Steam Deck and Android eventually. Android's a little ways down the road.
I'm sad it'll be a ways away. I really want to play on my phone.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I know.
Just learn Android dev.
No.
Okay, has it made any difference at all? I really need to make it show an average frame rate because it's really hard to tell what it's actually running at. It is running a bit faster. It looks like we're getting around 90-ish frames in combat now. It's sometimes popping up over 100.
And that's just with the software rendering.
Yeah, that's still software rendering, of course, so the software renderer is very slow and very bad.
And yet it's that high, so like with GPU it'll be way better.
Oh yeah, it'll once the memory emulation is completely gone, and once it's running in hardware, it'll it'll be in like into the thousands, which at that point, frame rate basically loses meaning.
1,000. Okay, I have a question.
Yep.
For people like, I know it'll probably still be fine for me, but in case there's anyone out there who does have either a good computer with a bad GPU, aka a 20-year-old GPU, or just someone with a bad computer in general, after we do hardware rendering, are you still willing to allow like a software rendering option, or would that be too much work?
There isn't really a reason. Like the demand of this game is like almost zero, even for 10, 15-year-old hardware.
Okay. One related question. What would that mean? Would that mean anything for people who only have onboard graphics?
No, I mean it doesn't really mean anything.
So if they have like the Intel HD graphics 3000 on a laptop, that'll be fine.
Oh yeah. I mean it'll run a lot faster
Okay.
than it does now because most of like a lot of the frame time. Well, actually, I can run with the debugger and or with the profiler and show how much time is actually spent rendering, and even having integrated graphics. All of that time will be offloaded from the CPU onto the GPU, even if it's an integrated GPU.
I think anyone with anything moderately new would be fine. Looking at the PS1's hardware, it had 2 megabytes of RAM, and it ran on like 33 megahertz for its CPU.
Yeah.
Which
But there might be someone out there who only has 1.5 megs of RAM, you know?
they might have to upgrade for the game then. Sorry to say.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can't run Windows with that much.
Wouldn't let you even like boot up Linux.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I see as an issue for people with like slow hardware is when we're unpacking the video and when we're doing transcoding, that will probably take a while if you're running like 10 years old integrated graphics.
Yeah, the unpacking process is definitely going to take a long time, especially if people are running on mechanical hard drives. But you know, what can you do? It's the first time you run the game, and it'll be just fine on subsequent runs.
Yeah, I think. Are you sure that like there will be a big difference between the mechanical hard drives and SSDs? Because like I feel like most of the time it's gonna be spent not like actually writing data, but doing I/O calls because so many files that have to be written separately.
Yeah, it's a good question. Um, I don't have an
Because
answer to that. I don't have a
like
mechanical hard drive, so.
I was reading like the video file from a mechanical hard drive,
Hmm.
and just loading the entire file into the memory takes like, I don't know, maybe like 20 milliseconds. And you know, like transcoding can take like 3.5 seconds.
Yeah.
On like a moderately good CPU and GPU at like even at current current standards.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. We'll have to test that and see. So yeah, the GPU tick is taking about 3/4 of the frame time. So you know, offloading that to the GPU, or a real GPU, not an emulated GPU. Um, yeah, big increase in performance. Easy, very easy. So does anybody else have any questions about the script engine or anything like that?
Yeah, I guess I could maybe sidebar this, but I wanted to talk to you about like, what can I work on in the meantime, and if it's something like you need help with this, or if this would be something I'd slow you down with, or I'm basically stuck on a harness until we get some, either hooks or another idea of how to handle the inputs.
Um, so what kind of hooks are you looking for? What would be helpful for you?
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's like a way to have an idea of just like make it simple to know what state the game is in. So I can, I mean, as far as like writing an actual script, it would just be, checking for different conditions before moving forward. Because right now the harness just works on a complete, like, handwritten script just based on timing. You know what I'm saying? So that's really bad for trying to write something like that's going to take forever. So I don't know, maybe what's the easiest way to go about it, to be honest with you.
I mean, getting the values for like types of menu in battle and stuff like that should be relatively easy.
Um,
Use of the memory, and I guess that helps you the most.
in terms of the menus no longer use the memory layer. Um, so we'll have to add hooks for that. Um, the test harness is running in the same memory space as the actual game, right?
Yeah, I'm just running it from source right now, but it actually runs main.main before
Okay.
it doesn't even run it. So it's all in the same thing.
Yeah, in that case, we probably aren't going to need a whole lot of hooks because you can just query the variables. Um, for now, until this part is dememulated, this variable is basically like the state that the game is in. So it'll tell you if you're in like a submap, world map, combat, whatever.
Right.
menus too. Right now, there's not really a good way to tell what menu you're in. Well, actually, that's not really true. Where's the menu stack? So the new menu code just uses a menu stack. So you could basically just query this and see what interface is at the top of the stack right now.
Okay, so the screen's all blurry for some reason. What file are you in? Is that
S item.
S item? Okay, yeah, can you read the letters? Okay, so menu stack and S item. Okay, yeah, I can start looking into that.
Yeah. So that's just a basic stack. If you need anything added, then just let me know.
This helps. I didn't have any idea of where to even start because it's just
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff in here that's not human readable to me. So
Yeah, no, that's for sure. A lot of the code is still laid out basically to mirror the assembly.
right.
And I have started refactoring that. Like with the menu rewrite, I refactored like 7,000 lines out of S item into the various inventory screens here.
How emulated is still the combat? I assume a lot.
Mostly.
Yeah, so if you need some help with combat stuff, like probably me or Zycronix can help you a lot because we did a bunch of stuff in combat for Dragoon modifier.
Yeah, Elepri and Zycronix are the developers of Dragoon modifier, which I don't know how familiar you are with it, but it's basically like a memory hack tool that adds a bunch of new features to the game.
Like a cheat engine type thing, or?
Kind of, but it's made specifically for Legend of Dragoon. They've done like hard mode, like added more Dragoon levels, all kinds of stuff like that.
I'll tell you what, I think that maybe the right way to go about this then is I'm going to start trying to compartmentalize, for example, this thing you're talking about. This looks like it's no longer in the emulation layer, the
Right.
S item.
Right.
So the things that are in that category, maybe I'll make a class that's just designed to interface with that, and something with I can get with am I saying Illiprith, right? Is that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, or Zycronix, I'll get with you guys for maybe a separate class that's more to do with the actual emulation stuff. And then it'll be more modular, so I can start swapping out things as the project develops and get some more out of the okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that would be for the best. Work with the knowledge that anything that's still in the memory layer is going to change fairly drastically.
Okay, well maybe I'll start with stuff that's already been moved out. Makes more sense.
Yeah, menus would definitely be a very good place to start, especially because I still have a lot of changes that need to be made to the menus, and we need to be able to test them and make sure that they still work.
Yeah, and just specifically, if you I don't know how feasible this is, but having an idea of what the known issues are, so we can make a test for that specific issue and nail it down, so that it never happens again, type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea.
To get that to a pipeline or something, but that's typically what I've used tests for. Is sure, I can think of every possible thing that could go wrong, but realistically, it's what did go wrong, and then make a little case for it.
It might also be, I don't know how much you have ever done with randomized testing. That could be helpful as well.
Define randomized testing?
It's kind of, it would have to be very specifically tailored to fit our needs, but it's essentially the idea of not setting up a scenarios, but generating input sort of randomly. It
Well, I
kind of
mean,
helps
I could.
with the fact that like you know you cover more scenarios if you actually do proper randomized stuff instead of like tailoring it to
Are you talking
specific.
like a bot that tries to break the program, like what Google has? It goes around and just kind of pokes at stuff.
Yes, kind of like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I
Gotcha.
mean, I could look into that too. Yeah.
Just generate non-stop random input as fast as you possibly can.
Well, I mean, I could. The problem is the game doesn't recognize. I nailed down to about 100 milliseconds is what it actually will recognize. Anything faster than that, it just ignores it.
Yeah, it's at the moment it's still using the game's input processing code in the back end. So it's like one input per frame.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, depending on what part of the game is, some of it runs in 20 and some of it runs in 30 frames per second.
I guess theoretically, if I put enough random in there, it'll eventually beat the game given infinite time, right?
Exactly. Monkeys in a room on a typewriter.
Exactly.
Twitch plays LOD.
Yeah.
That would
Oh,
be a fun
we'll
stream to
do
watch.
that. We'll definitely do that.
Well, so that actually brings me back to another idea I had. So I think that if we were to do the randomized thing, I'd almost want to introduce machine learning into that because I can have the computer just decide what it's going to do, and that's a separate bot that would be pretty easy for me to set up.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's a priority, you know.
Oh, yeah, and how many input nodes would that have? That wouldn't even be that much.
Right now, I've just got the keys that were bound, you know, like arrow keys and the what do you call them, the shape buttons, L1, R1. All those are bound. I mean, I think there's what like 20 classes or methods rather that I put in for each one of those. So each one of those is just its own method that you can call them. I haven't done anything with the mouse yet, but there's not that much input to the game accepts. Is that what you're asking?
No, I meant like for the machine learning that like.
Oh yeah, yo, okay. So that's just like that's a whole different thing. But it basically, I forget the name. It learns. It's like a trial and error learning process. So you don't even have to train it. Like you would train a normal model with like examples. This is like
I know. I was thinking like how many input nodes would that actually like
Oh,
require?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I'm not working at that level with it. It's at a higher level. I use some layered APIs to kind of use some pre-established nets. So I mean, if I really wanted
Uh-huh.
to drill down into the actual net, I could find out. But yeah, I don't really look at that closely usually.
I got a couple of questions in chat. Inchi asked, would it be possible to do a Dragoon Spirit swap mod? If you mean just like swapping which characters transform into what Dragoons, um, that would definitely require some custom models.
That that is absolutely easy in the memulation layer. If you
Yeah,
give any character um any dragon spirit in a battle, they just transform into that character. If you wanted to actually like make a model for them, then yeah, sure, that would be hard.
yeah, the basics like swapping spells and attacks and stuff like that. That'd be pretty easy. But yeah, if we wanted to do it like the whole way with like updated visuals and stuff, someone would definitely have to make models for that, models and animations and everything. Um, let's see what else. John Jingleheimer asked how long the dev streams are going to be and if they're going to be weekly. They will be weekly whenever I'm up for it, which should be most of the time. How long they are, hour or two. We'll see. We're almost at the hour mark now, so this one will probably be longer. But yeah, the current plan is every Wednesday from 8 o'clock to 9:30, 10 my time. For reference, it's almost 9 o'clock now. What else? What are the changes to LED that's being made with this mod? That was from Symphony Bliss. So this isn't really a mod itself. I've basically made an unofficial PC port of the game, so this is all running natively on PC. Right now it runs on Windows, Linux, Steam Deck. It should run on Mac, but nobody's actually tested that, because none of us have Macs. Speaking of which, if anyone has a Mac and wants to test it, message me in modding.
I would have to steal one from work.
Yeah, or set up a VM or something.
I have a Mac I can test out for you.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Yeah.
It'd be great if we could run it on one of those old iMacs.
Yeah, so we are actually already building for Mac. If you go to the Releases tab, I think, I'm pretty sure that we're building for Mac. I wish Zychronics was here. Oh my god. There we go.
Well, once we get him on the payroll, you know.
Zychronics has been setting up most of the build process stuff for me. Yes, we are building for Mac. Look at that. Go us. So yeah, if anyone wants to test it, you can just pop into the Releases tab and download the Mac build. It should run in the exact same way as the Linux build does. Derek Hawkins asked, what are the mods that are added? So we haven't made a whole lot of core changes yet, like changes to actual parts of the gameplay. We've done a ton of code changes, like just, you know, quality of life stuff, making the game faster. There's basically no load times whatsoever. All of the files on disks are unpacked to the hard drive, as you can see right here. It does all of the unpacking and decompression and everything up front, so it's really easy to modify game files if you want to. Down the road, we're also going to be converting them to standard files, like, you know, PNGs for textures, whatever models. We haven't really settled on that yet. Probably OGG for sounds, etc., etc. We've made it so you can have unlimited save slots. We have done, you can change your inventory size anywhere from 1 slot if you're a sadist, all the way up to 64. That will be changed in the future so that you can increase it to basically whatever you want. You can customize your battle UI colors. We've got all kinds of dev tools too, like debugging tools, which you can use to do stuff like warp around. You can start any fight that you want just by punching in the ID. I'll show that here in a second. So we can pop open the debug tools. So here we've got, this is the battle UI color here, so you can change that if you want. This allows you to start any encounters, so like I could put in an encounter ID and click start, and it just puts me into a fight. You can do this anywhere too, even in towns, places where you wouldn't normally be able to get into combat. We've got a combat debugger too. Whoops.
So how does the stage in-game look when you're fighting in a location where it's usually impossible to fight it?
It usually uses stage 0, which is a actually not a stage that's available in-game. It is a beta build of, or a beta stage of Hoax before it's been destroyed. I'll show that in a sec, actually. You can see.
In certain cases, it'll.
I can also like modify enemy stats in real time too. So I haven't touched this guy, but you can see his indicator is red now.
In certain cases, Corey, just so you know, it does sometimes load the current area's background as well. Like I've fought a Virage in like the
just like a valley causeway kind of a place. I think it's somewhere south of the Barrens.
Yeah, if the place does have a scene, then it will use that one. But for any that doesn't, then yeah.
Okay.
I'm just going to reload because I don't know the name of a town off the top of my head.
The scene is set up in the table for the map encounters. So like whatever is there shows. For the ones that don't have encounters, it's generally set to 0. But yeah, like if you're gonna fight any boss that has script, it can often like teleport you to that map.
Right.
So that's why it can load the scene from that specific map. But I think it only happens for some.
Yeah, if the area that you're in does have its own scene, as you saw when I started the fight in the last place I was in, it just started it in the normal combat scene for that area. But I just started this from within the Twin Castles, and you can see that it's actually this is a version of Hoax that you never actually see. Undestroyed.
What we could do in the debug is actually like let you set up whatever scene you want. That's a really easy thing to do.
Actually, I plan to go a lot farther than that. We're going to make an entire match composer basically, so you can pick what enemies you want to fight, where you want to fight them. We might even make it so you can modify their stats before the fight starts. Oh yeah, Vorth had mentioned free party config. Yeah, you can do no dart as well. And you can also remove party members from your party, but that's a bit buggy because some fights expect you to have specific numbers of characters.
Yeah, and the infamous Shana bug with dashing moves.
Oh yeah, you also soft lock if you finish a boss with Shauna because she doesn't have additions, and that's why it's still locked behind a config setting.
Will the addition system be reverted to what it was planned to be for archers?
There will probably be mods for adding additions to archers. We're not going to integrate that into the core because that's a fundamental gameplay change. But yeah, we will make it possible.
I think like if we had more info on what it was actually supposed to be, then it would be okay. But we only really have the Japanese Miranda voice lines for it.
Yeah.
Even the unused IDs have some already existing additions associated with them. There are no actual animations on the discs, it seems.
Unless there's something secret hiding in the file somewhere. I know Psychronix tried to make them run through darts, and it was really hacky looking. Unless there's something real under there, though, there's probably nothing left of those remnants.
We tried to run all of the addition IDs through pretty much all of the characters with Dragoon modifier, and that was just like I think it was Psychronix that confirmed that those were just some other duped additions, the ones that weren't the IDs that weren't actually used in game.
Is there any chance that Severed Chains would have a better chance of running that? Because, like, you know, now Dart's not required, and so we don't maybe have to run everything through Darts, and we can try to actually run it through Miranda more natively?
Oh, we could run any addition on any character whatsoever. It's not just locked to Dart.
but it would have. Well, the things Iconics did was using Dart's model, and now we could use Miranda's model, and maybe it would, not be all janky looking.
Yeah, but I think the additions that we ran into that weren't used and are in the files were all being pointed to, I think, Albert's additions or something like that.
Oh, okay, never mind.
All that being said, though, of course, we've got the source code, so we can do whatever we want.
The reverse source code, to be clear.
Yeah, we don't have the original source code. But we do have source code.
We could make it into Pong if we wanted to.
We could. New Pong minigame in the Lohan area, whatever it's called. What's that place called? The place with all the minigames. Hero competition.
Oh, you're talking about Lohan?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
I'm also probably have a weird pronunciation of that regionally.
Who knows?
I'll just assume everyone but me says all words wrong.
Make sure that change
If,
that I
if,
made
if
actually
we're doing
works.
Pong, I require it to be Miranda on each side and they're slapping the rows over and over.
You know what? I'll allow it. Hey, Zychronix is finally here. Or has been here for a while. I have not been doing good at paying attention to the chat.
That's okay, I've been throwing random comments in there for you.
Yes, thank you. I noticed that. At least someone's answering people. Yeah, I think a match composer would be pretty interesting to do, and wouldn't even be that hard to make. Be interesting being able to, I don't know, fight 4 dragons at once or something.
Yeah, just a full match customizer is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
The thing about it is like that shouldn't be a problem at all now that if the models are actually impact from the pairs.
Yeah, no, it no longer uses the model packages at all.
So you're using the actual models.
Yep, it just basically it iterates through the model packages and just finds files for each combatant.
Yeah, because there's I'm not sure. It's probably still memulated, but there's a table which has which encounter has which monsters in them, and if you just added that, that would just like code whatever you want. The only issue we had with that was that would load the textures, not even the models, but the textures from the encounter packs, so you would have, wrong textures on the monsters.
Yeah, so those methods are right here. I think the enemy textures are still being loaded from the packages, but that's a really easy change to make. Yeah, this is the code here that basically just searches for all the models
Yeah.
for the players.
I was talking about not about the players, about the monsters.
Yeah.
They are also packaged like this.
Yeah, I just mean, like, it's not a lot of code to do it the better way, so it would be a very easy change to make to fix that.
Oh, we should probably, if it's not that's done, we should probably also get rid of a lot of the files from. Like, my guess is like we can get rid of like 400 files by doing that for monsters.
Really into this.
Because there's like a very large amount of the encounters, right, and not so many monsters to begin with.
Yeah, for sure.
You're gonna have all of the doubles, triples, singles, and that there's no need unpacking that from the disk at all. I wonder how hard that will be to parse through all of that, but they should all have IDs, so I guess if you just keep a list of the unpacked IDs, that should be fine.
Yeah, and I mean, we know the file patterns, so, we know what files to prune. Zychronic said, okay, but does the 6th battle slot work in severed chains? Probably not, but I'm going to be doing away with the battle slots altogether, and I'm just going to make it so you can have as many player characters or enemies in a combat and in a battle as you want. So there's that.
To be honest, I'm always skeptical about the 6th battle slot because I am not entirely sure the memory doesn't overflow into different stages if that happens.
Do you know where that memory is?
Yeah. It's I can tell you the address. Let me just open up Dragon Modifier. It's the same thing that has the pointers to the battle objects, the master pointer table.
I'm not sure what you mean by the master pointer table.
For battle. Let me check for the address.
I apologize. I'm going to mute. I'm just happy to see this.
BC1CO address.
BC1CO, that is the script state array.
Yeah, and in that there are pointers to
the battle objects, yeah.
The battle objects, yeah, and each has its space there, and there's actually like spot for one extra monster in there.
So the thing with the script states is that there's 72 script state slots. You can have 72 scripts loaded at any given time into the scripting engine, and that's just an arbitrary limit. Now that is no longer memulated, that's we could change that to whatever.
Okay.
And the battle objects themselves are located, or they're mallocked. Let me just start an encounter here.
Because I'm pretty sure there were certain bosses, like for example, like definitely Melbu, and I think Faust also had like a very large amount of scripts.
Yeah, probably.
So if you were to add Faust and maybe some other the bosses that usually have more moves.
Hmm. Oh, I can't
So,
open the script debugger on this branch because of all the changes that I've been making. I haven't finished that yet. This is how many slots are available in retail for enemies and players. 9 total.
yeah, that's where the sixth, the unused one. That's where that comes from.
Yeah. So
Between characters and monsters, one extra, I think.
yeah, I don't see any reason that you wouldn't be able to use that. 'Cause yeah, I mean, like the script states, like I said, you can have up to 72 of them, and the objects themselves, like the battle objects, are just allocated on the heap. So it should be doable. But I mean, yeah, with severed chains, like I was saying before, I'm gonna make it so you can just have like any number of enemies and players as well.
A full party versus Melbu.
Yeah, exactly. Or double Melbu or something. Although I'm not sure that the scripts would agree with that.
All forms Melbu at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Just
Or like all dragons or something. That'd be an interesting boss.
by the way, I'm looking into the audio right now, and the array I was talking about, like if it works between the actual segments, it apparently has a pointer to it that on each iteration is like added to, and nothing ever removes anything from it, and it somehow works, and I have no idea. That stuff should overflow like immediately, but it doesn't.
What was that for the audio?
It's for the. It's probably like being somehow refreshed, but it's for the resampling to the correct audio format.
Yeah, was that what you had sent me earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, a while ago Zach asked, with FPS unlocking, will animations and edition timing be decoupled from the FPS? Yes, that is a major goal because we want to at least bump the frame rate to 60 frames per second everywhere. So we'll just kind of interpolate new frames in between, and we will convert everything to use proper timing rather than being frame bounded.
Actually, if we're running on hardware, we could probably interpolate some of the animations. It shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah.
The standard practice these days.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're interpolated anyway, right? Because they're doing like keyframes between, or frames between keyframes. So I mean, it's just a matter of increasing the number of sample points. What was that code that you sent me earlier? I don't remember. Where was that from?
it's in the SPU and it's in the XA ADPCM thingy. It's about just resampling. It should probably work on separately because it's just resampling, so I don't see a reason why resampling should somehow break between the audio sectors. Doesn't really make sense to me, but
Yeah.
it's just a weird that it's like a static buffer that's being and a static pointer that's used. It's just
It's a ring buffer, isn't it? So it just kind of loops continuously.
yeah. So I'm hoping it like resets to 0 after every pass, but the weird thing that there's also like a resample pointer that points inside of the buffer, and that
Yeah,
points
so that's
big.
the index, and it looks like it just loops over itself repeatedly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like if you were to end one sector in the middle of the loop, and the next sector would start from the middle, which would suck for if it was trying to make it run in parallel.
Yeah, you probably don't need to use a ring buffer.
I'll just try to make it work with like just a regular buffer and a regular pointer to it and hope for the best.
Yeah, I think that would work fine.
Oh, by the way, that's one thing I wanted to ask you. Do you have any practice or any experience with like deciding thread counts on different hardware?
I mean, generally it's just kind of, you know, one thread per either physical or logical processor.
The thing is, like I know in Java, like you can easily get the amount of physical cores, but you know, like because a lot of stuff now uses hyperthreading, you could easily have two of them, and I think you just get the available processors just give you the amount of physical cores.
Is my CPU hyper-threaded? I don't think it is. I think it's just 6 physical cores. Yes, it is just 6 physical cores, so I can't test this. Okay, this is saying if you want to get the number of physical cores, then you need to parse out information, so I'm guessing that this gives you the number of logical cores.
Okay, that would be fine because I have it set up like that I can manually just choose how many threads I want to run it on, just for testing purposes and so on. But I mean, if it's not physical core, I don't think it matters too much. Like even if it's just physical cores, because you know, going from like 8 threads to 16 threads will give only like maybe 15% speed up at best, compared to like going from 1 to 8, which gives you like 4 times or something like that.
Yeah, here's a Stack Overflow post asking exactly what you are looking for. I just linked it in
The
modding.
thing is, I'm just like not entirely sure how that will translate to all of the different APIs of the different OSs. Guess it should look I guess it should work fine on Linux. That's where the Steam Deck runs. Hopefully.
I don't see any reason that it wouldn't.
Yeah, it should be fine.
It really should work basically the exact same, no matter what operating system you're running on. I was going to do something, and now I can't remember what that was. I think I was going to fix the script debugger. Oh my god, I cannot type right now for some reason. I've been working on this for so long with the memulation layer that when I started converting all that stuff back to normal code, it took me like 10 minutes to remember how to write normal code.
I had that issue with Dragoon modifier.
Yeah.
Because I would do a lot of optimizations where if you had an object and you would be running, you would have an object that has like a memory layer behind it that would read the actual process memory.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time you would want to save that value to a variable because it saves time on accessing the memory layer.
Yep.
And like if you're working with just a regular object, like there's no point doing that. It would take a while for me to, get used to normal coding.
Yeah, I've been doing this like pretty much non-stop for 2 years now. And it's just basically completely ingrained. Okay, is there anything? I don't think those can be null. Let's hot swap this class. Yeah, it seems to be working. This should be Dart. I'm not convinced that those are supposed to be null, but who knows? I don't know if you can hear Aurelia screeching in the background or not.
A little bit.
What about now?
I think it got cut off. Not anymore.
It's been, well, very unseasonably warm here, and she has gone into heat because she thinks that it is the summertime, or springtime. Why is this crashing? What is wrong with you? Oh, it's the script debugger crashing. Whoops. Can you not do that. Okay. I'm just going to do this. No, still? Come on. What's wrong with you now? There we go. Wonder what would happen if we changed Dart's level. Illepri, do you know if there's any part of combat that relies on the level for calculating stats, or is it all cached up front?
The level is used for damage calculation.
Oh, look at that. It automatically clamped it to 60. Let's see what happens.
I'm not sure from the top of my head if it's
Only 3705?
if it's the damage you receive or the damage you deal. I'm pretty sure damage level is somehow used in damage calculation.
Yep, definitely damage calculation. Because I did about 1/10 of the damage there.
That's the weird formula somewhere in the model channel.
Right, yeah.
It's like a level plus 5 times something.
Yeah, right here. I think this is I think the standard attack calculation. Although it is doing a Dragoon check. There's another check here too. What's this one for? Oh, this is magic. Yeah, okay, so this is
It should all use the level, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, it looks like it's the exact same formula. Just with magical attack instead of
5. Yeah.
yeah.
So if you ever wondered why leveling up made you deal so much more damage even though you only increased your stats by a little bit, then this is the reason.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. So your attack stat goes up as well, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So your stats go up, but also you gain more just by virtue of leveling up.
Yeah, and you also like the addition multiplier also somehow kicks in.
Right.
It's all multiplicative, I think.
Yeah, this is it here. That's your addition multiplier, yeah. It's multiplied with the damage multiplier.
Yeah, the attack, and then the attack is multiplied with level plus 5.
Yep.
Oh, you have actually made defense float. Interesting. So you have solved some of the rounding errors in the calculation.
Yeah, I do plan on making the damage calculation actually like fully accurate. Remove the integer inaccuracy from it because there's a lot of integer division. So
one thing I'm wondering about is if you put on something like an ultimate var god and you attack something like the bluebird, you still deal 0 damage even though it's an addition. That bug always annoyed me.
What do you mean with that exactly?
Well, if you're attacking a bluebird, right, it should have no resistance, or it should take 1 damage from physical attacks.
Right.
But if you're using ultimate var god, you deal 0.
Really?
Yes.
I believe you, but I would need to see it. I'm gonna have to test that.
That's really strange.
That should only Ultimate War God should not be screwing with the damage. Is that in retail?
Yeah, that's in retail. I think the issue is with the damage calculation itself, because like the ultimate var god has some of the values that it's putting on top of the regular var god to make full damage. And
Yeah,
I suspect that the damage is halved and that it's doubled, but because of the rounding, it goes from 1 damage to half, so it makes it to 0, and it's doubled and still stays 0.
So 2x0 is 0.
Yeah, but that's just... you can test it. It just does 0 damage for some reason.
And because I was gonna check that actually, I was gonna ask you that. My next question was like, hey, is there any chance that's War God calling, which could drop it to 0 maybe? But if it's really the ultimate War God, why the hell would they do that? Like, was that just to clone the items? It sounds like
the var god sash or whatever it is, the half damage outside edition 1.
The calling?
Yeah, the calling, but I think it's the same. Perhaps it's just no longer considered to be an addition.
That's really fascinating. Like, the only way I could reason it is if they somehow found it easier to just clone the item and then times it by 2 at the end. I don't know.
If that were the case, it would make more sense to half the damage on War God's calling and do Ultimate War God normally, but...
A lot of this game is really screwy. if only things made sense.
Too much. Alright, so
I
while you
it
were
was
talking, I set darts levels to 9,999, and we're going to see what happens.
And thus the world ended.
Yep, that makes sense. Alright, now we're going to remove the damage cap.
Yeah, turn it up.
Yeah, that's probably part of it.
That should be like 3 values, if I remember it correctly, 3 or 4. The 999. Wait, you just delete something that was the 99999.
I did. I'm not sure what that was for. Okay, that's the floating numbers, so we do probably want to remove that. Although, No, this can only render up to that. All right, I'll leave that part in for now. Otherwise, it'll truncate the value. Okay, that's all S item stuff, so that doesn't apply. This is render number. This is probably just for the UI. I think this is just for the UI. Okay, let's give that one a shot and see if that worked. Just gonna recompile.
I can actually give you the addresses if that helps.
Yeah, sure.
So for the damage cap, we're changing
Oh, whoops, I attacked the pros.
M536C.
1 second. Why does it have crash data? What was the address?
I posted them all into the chats.
Okay.
So that's. Oh wait. Oh sorry, that's the wrong cap. My bad. Where's damage cap? It's caps for the field HP. This is what we are basing the damage cap on.
Okay, so that first one is. Looks like these are mostly in the items overlay.
Oh yeah. Those are
Yeah.
for HP, for character HP.
Yeah.
The field. First for the F2A5C is for damage. And then there is some memory scanning that is done afterwards in the battle. So the
Okay, yeah, that is the one that I just removed. That F2A5C. Alright, let's start another fight.
oh, you might get crash if it gets above 50,000. Something happens.
We're gonna find out.
It might be just like issue with the actual math on the hardware.
If I remember right, the old limit was 65535, but I could be wrong.
That would be an
Yes,
unsigned short, so it's possible.
yes, but
Still capped at
but if
999.
I'm pretty sure Zacronix can confirm if more than 50,000 damage was dealt, it would crash the game.
Well, Corey, it looks like we're just going to have to go back to Dragoon modifier.
Battle.
Alright, let's see how much damage we're actually doing here. Yeah, that's a lot. 665,266. Apologies for Dart repeatedly yelling in the background. I'm just going to mute the game for now, because it's going to keep looping like that for as long as I have it paused.
Yeah, we can't hear the game.
Okay,
So
how do
we
I...
can. Don't know about YouTube. Nope.
Yeah, YouTube should be able... Okay, how do I get into the volume mixer?
Why are you doing it that way?
Because that is how you do it.
No, you... Well, not to actually sound like a dick, but there is a icon on your taskbar usually. You can click that.
Nope.
All I know is I found a shortcut for it, and I make it like a pinned button on my start bar, or my taskbar.
Anyway,
always
sorry
open it.
everyone, but that's happening. Alright, let's see where this is actually getting. So it's S2. What do these methods do? Doesn't look like there's any limiting code in there.
I've posted the entire thingy in the code from the Dragoon modifier damage cap and damage cap scan.
Okay.
Not sure if it tells you much because we are actually like scanning a range of memory for a certain.
Okay, so it's getting loaded into the script engine here. So I think it should come into this method here. I'm just going to drop a breakpoint there and resume. Okay, so at this point it's already gotten capped. A3 is damage, okay. That'll be S3, which comes from here. So it seems to be actually getting capped in the script engine as well, unless it goes through something else.
Oh yeah, that is probably why the damage cap scan works the way it does, because we are actually like going through memory and we're looking for a certain pattern in the correct script that's loaded into the memory.
Yeah.
Change from 999 to the 50,000.
Gotcha. So yeah, that's yet another annoyance with the script engine, and another very good reason why we are doing what we're doing.
But like you should have some place where the value is from, right? So you can just change it there. It should propagate into the script engine.
I would need to edit the script.
Oh, it's inside of the script.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's what it seems like. I don't suppose you know what script it is.
I have no idea.
Oh, that's the wrong terminal. Submaps. This might be the combat controller. Actually no. I think the damage calculation is done in the actual combatant script. But that being said, I don't remember where the combatant script is. There should be Dart here. Dart is always 6. How does it log the script loading? I really want to try this and see if it crashes. I wonder if everything just uses the same script. Dragon 1, 258. Oh, that's...
You can just look for... You can look in integer numbers. You have to put it to...
Okay, so there's a few 999s here. What's gonna happen if I just change all of those?
Some of them are probably gonna be for HP. Assume, because... Or is that somewhere else, the display of HP for characters?
I am not sure. Now that's gonna create a backup file. Actually, I think it should be fine to just launch it. Alright, attempt number 4. So Chronic says this looks like how it looked in the memory map, so hoping for the best.
Oh wait, we could maybe use the damage scan to... That should be the OF27 flag somewhere at the start of the cap.
Alright, extreme power up. Whoops, I left its breakpoint. It's, oh no, okay, so it did hit that FFFF cap. Yep, there we go.
What does that translate to?
It's the highest you can represent in an unsigned short, 65535.
I was right. Damn, I was right.
That's probably
yeah.
higher than what you can get in the actual retail game, though.
Okay, a wild speculation here. The actual actual calculation for damage, because it cannot do floating point numbers, right? It's multiplying by 100 and dividing. So that's probably where the issue comes from on the original hardware.
Yeah, most likely.
You don't actually overflow the short, but you overflow the int that uses to calculate the
Alright, Zychronic said use a Dragoon spell with Dart now, so we're just gonna ruin this guy's life. Okay, I do want to see how much damage we're going to do here, so I'm going to add a breakpoint. Because it is still going to get capped, just cap at a higher amount. It crashed. It's trying to use a... Okay, this is unrelated to... Yeah, this is unrelated to the damage stuff we've been messing around with. It's a script engine issue. What did that look like on the old branch? I was pretty sure there's a maximum of 10 params. Let's open this up here. Script, oops, wrong file. Script state. Yeah, 10. Wait, where's frame? Oh, sorry. Wrong file again. Should be running script. Yeah, 10. I don't know. Could be a bug in something I did, or it could be some weird quirk in the scripting engine that made it crash there. Really, can you please stop? Anyway, it's been just shy of 2 hours now, so I think I'm probably going to call it a night here, and we can pick back up, well, I guess we'll pick back up on Friday, but we'll do another dev stream next Wednesday, same time. Thanks, Forthod. You too. Oh, by the way, before I go, I just started a Ko-fi account, kofi.com/monoxide, if anyone wants to support me in what I'm doing. I will also link that in the chat.
There's a dash after the O in Ko-fi.
Yes, that.
If I may slightly poach your viewers, Corey, now that you're done, I am potentially looking at trying out one of these activity things that Discord has.
What is an activity?
It's a thing you do to have fun, I think. It's a new concept that Discord thought of. Fun. I'm not sure what to do with that.
Wow.
Basically, it's just some like little mini games or something to be built into Discord. I don't know if they're any good or not, but I was thinking of ways to just liven up the Discord for us anyway, like with a custom bot or something, like an RPG bot or something, and thought I'd get myself in the creative mood by trying one of these activity things.
Gotcha. That sounds interesting.
Supposedly you can customize some of them.
Everyone in the Discord chat is asking what fun is. I think you
Like,
might have to. I think you might have to explain it.
like I would know. I am the most serious person probably in the entire fan. Like I can have fun, but like I'm just always going on the deep end of the pool. I am not the person to ask. Like you ask me what fun is, and I'll be like, 2 hours of research and rabbit holes for fragments of old game information. Just,
Yeah, and I'll just be sitting here writing code.
it's like I watch shows, but everyone knows how to do that already. I can't teach them. Apparently, you can watch YouTube videos synchronized. That's pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
Putt
Let's watch the
Party,
VOD.
some kind of weird mini golf.
Yeah, yeah. Watch the VOD.
Card game, checkers. Some of these could be pretty fun. Ooh, there's like a cutthroat soccer game. I gotta try that.
Marino Kadame says, select those old Windows Live games. And yes, but also I blocked those from my memory, so...
Yeah, there's that. There were some interesting ones, though. Like, Yahoo used to have this thing called the Yahoo Fighter, and I was super into it as a kid.
What was that?
It was like a weird fighting game. I don't even remember how it worked, but like there's remnants of it online. There is like probably still 10 fans remaining.
And you're one of them? Because of course you are.
I'm 4 of them.
Ah, yeah.
Alright, I'm going to try the soccer one, because that sounds like a lot of fun. Up to 8 participants. Authorize. Anyone want to join me on this? Even one person might be enough.
I'm gonna play.
I'm going to stop the YouTube stream, so thank you everyone who's just watching on YouTube, and we will hopefully see you on Friday for the game